Stephen, if you wouldn't mind, explain to us what Office 365 is all about.
Okay. Office 365 is a suite of Microsoft products that most folks in the workforce are already familiar with. It includes Lync, Exchange email, SharePoint, Yammer. And the differentiation here is that all of these tools are integrated together in a cloud environment, so they can be delivered at your desktop through a browser or through any mobile device that you may own and use even at home.
Mm-hmm. And at today's luncheon, you spoke about collaboration and how to use tools to improve efficiency and that sort of thing. And that's what all those tools together will do. Is that the bottom line?
That's exactly what it's about. We have a concept at Microsoft where we want people to work like a network. And the gist of that is, the world has gotten so complex that no one of us has all the answers that we need to be successful in all the challenges that we're faced with in a day or a week at the office, or even at home for that matter. So how do you tap into the others that you have around you, whether they're people that you know today or the people you don't know you need to know tomorrow to get things done? And it's a suite of tools that helps pull that together.
Today you focused on Yammer as it seemed to be the primary piece of it. And were you surprised how many people weren't familiar with that sort of a collaborative tool?
Surprised? No. The customers that I work with are already on it, so I think my day-to-day skews my understanding of how many folks actually have the platform. But I think an enterprise social platform inside the business is a relatively new concept, and it's one that a lot of organizations are trying to figure out what does it mean and how is it going to change the way that they interact and interface with their colleagues, which introduces some interesting questions, which is what we're diving into today.
One question that came up is, why don't we just stick with emails? What does this help with? And what was the answer that you felt was the best answer in that case?
So email is ubiquitous, right? And what it is really fantastic at is helping you connect with the people you know. I mean, it's a one-on-one, you choose the name, you choose exactly who receives your message. But that doesn't always expedite access to the person who really has the right answer, the best answer that you need. And that's where an enterprise social platform comes into play. It allows you to present a question or an idea or a challenge to a group of folks around a familiar topic and allow them, a larger populace of those you do and maybe not know, help get back to you in a more efficient way.
Another one you talked about a little bit was SharePoint. Here's my question. SharePoint is so different than other Microsoft products in that it's a little clunkier when you want to do a hyperlink and that sort of thing. Why is it so radically different from just doing those basic little things for the end user's point, and will that change ever?
I think that change is already here. I think some of the clunkiness all depends on how companies choose to put it together and put it out to colleagues. So what Microsoft is doing through the Office 365 platform is taking some of that guesswork out. So one of the benefits of having the suite of tools is that Microsoft can bring those tools together more effectively. So in one example, you can be inside SharePoint, open up a document where you're actually editing, say, a PowerPoint with 2, 3, 10 other people at the same time, and immediately just pop that into your social network and share the output of that with a group. And the link is really easy to work with. It shows some of the content directly inside the social platform. So it's a great way to work collaboratively with a small team to produce and then disseminate to a larger population for further input or insight.
The version of SharePoint my company uses is such that if we have a Toastmasters club and we have our own SharePoint site for that. If I take a photo and I upload it and I want to use that photo, say, on the main page, I have to keep clicking until I get to the original photo, grab the URL, go back out, go into wherever I want to post that thing, click picture, then it comes now pasting the URL, which is different than other products where if I wanted to do a hyperlink, you just click, go to where you want, click on that, and boom, it's there. It's already put in there. That's the kind of thing I'm asking about.
So what you're referring to more is the on-premises versions, the versions that companies kind of install and maintain the infrastructure for.
Yes.
And that's where the Office 365 suite is really a key differentiator. And for anyone following Microsoft and hearing Satya Nadella talk about Microsoft's strategy, it's cloud first, mobile first. Mobile is the easy part. We live on our mobile phones today, so the ability to put even your work information literally in your hand is amazing. But the cloud part is really important in that from a product and a content point of view. When it's in the cloud, you can get at your information from anywhere. So that enables that mobile vision, it realizes it for you. But more importantly, in the cloud, Microsoft can accelerate the release of product enhancements and evolve the products on your behalf. Whereas most organizations are used to the renewal cycle or a new release cycle, right? So SharePoint, 2007, and then they waited 3 years for SharePoint 2010, and these are the large and significant upgrades. This cloud-first shift really involves a more incremental evolution of the tools that we're controlling. And because Microsoft owns the platform, the hardware, and is pushing the software and supporting the software, we can make all those changes directly within the software, and the next day, a colleague in any one of our organizations that's a customer goes into the same website, and they're seeing the new functionality.
Wow.
It's not an internal release cycle that you have to play with any longer.
Oh, that's terrific. Is there one thing that came up in your presentation today, or that as you prepare for this, that you think is important that we should talk about now that we want to make sure we include?
I think the gist of all of this is, whether it's from an angle of social or cloud or mobile, we as individuals have become so comfortable with these concepts at home, yet they're still challenging topics for a lot of organizations to work through. And questions of risk come up often. I think there was the one mantra that we had earlier on in the presentation, just around experimentation. If there's one thing I were to land on, it's experiment. No experiment, or not every experiment, is going to be perfect. Not every experiment is going to result in huge impact. But if you don't try things, you aren't going to find those huge impacts. So start with small experiments, course correct. We use a term inside Microsoft, aim, fire, adjust. And I think organizations should think in a similar way.
Wonderful. Thank you.